All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. And today we are tackling creativity.
Yeah.
And specifically, we are
Big topic.
we're going deep on this book that I am super excited about. It's Creativity Unchained, Unlocking Your Wildest Ideas in 2025.
I love that title.
Yeah, just the title
It's
itself,
very aspirational.
it makes you want to
Yeah.
go out and do stuff.
Yeah, make something.
Obviously the focus of this book is to show people that anybody can be creative.
Hmm.
So let's dive in.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So one of the things that really struck me early on in this book was the emphasis on everybody having this wellspring of creativity
Right.
that's
So
just
it's in there.
waiting to be tapped.
Absolutely.
And they're really pushing this idea that it doesn't matter what you do for a living, what your background is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are.
You can be where you
You're
come from.
more creative.
Yes.
And I also like that it's not just theory.
No.
It's-
It's very
It gives your
here are some actual things you can do
tools.
to be more creative.
Exactly. And it's I think we all kind of know that we should be more creative or we want to be more creative.
Right.
It's just how do we actually do that?
Right.
That's what this book is about.
Yeah. And I'm always a sucker for a book that gives you actionable
Yes.
steps.
Fictional.
But one of the things that I think we all struggle with, and this is something that the book addresses head on,
Mhm.
is those creative blocks. Those
Oh, yeah, those mental roadblocks.
roadblocks that we all hit.
Absolutely.
So how does the book recommend kind of getting over those or getting past those?
Well, the big thing is they emphasize this idea of a creative mindset.
Okay.
And it's it's a state of being
Okay.
where you're open to new possibilities.
Right.
You're curious, you're embracing trying new things,
Mm-hmm.
and most importantly, you're viewing failure as a learning opportunity, not as a roadblock.
Like a stepping stone. That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, so it's kind of reframing how you view these things, those challenges.
Okay, so mindset is
It's the foundation.
a foundation.
Yeah,
And then from there, what are some of the things that we can do to actually break through?
Well, one of the things they talk about is facing your fears,
Okay.
which I think is something that a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
Because, fear can be so paralyzing,
It can be.
especially when it comes to creativity,
Totally.
because you're putting yourself out there, you're being vulnerable, and, you're afraid of judgment, you're afraid of failure.
Right.
So one of the techniques they highlight in the book is this metaphorical monster exercise.
Ooh. That sounds
It's a little out there.
a little scary.
Yeah, but it's actually pretty cool.
Okay, so tell me about it.
So basically, you visualize your fear as a monster,
Okay.
and then you kind of break it down. You give it characteristics,
Okay.
and you kind of try to understand its motivations.
I like that.
Yeah. So the idea is to demystify your fear and take away its power,
By
By,
getting to know it.
humanizing it.
Yeah, exactly. Humanizing it, understanding it.
Yeah.
And seeing that it's not this big scary thing.
Yeah. Because I think so much of fear is the unknown.
Absolutely.
Right.
When you don't know what something is,
Yeah.
it's easy to be afraid of it.
It's easy to make it bigger in your mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this exercise is all about shrinking that monster down
Okay.
to a manageable size.
So we've talked about mindset. We've talked about facing our fears. What are some other...
Well, another big one is finding inspiration.
Okay.
And the book really emphasizes that inspiration doesn't always have to come from these grandiose moments.
Big events, yeah.
Yeah, big events or these big epiphanies.
Right. It can be something small.
It can be something small, it can be something every day.
Mm-hmm.
And they encourage you to find inspiration in the mundane, in the everyday.
I like that. Yeah. And they also talk about the importance of play and experimentation in the creative process.
Clay, I love that.
Yeah. Because when you're playing, you're not so worried about the outcome.
You're just
You're just exploring. You're having fun. You're being curious. And that's when the best ideas often come.
right.
And they give this great example in the
Oh,
book.
I love the examples.
Of an engineer who was totally stuck on this design for a prosthetic limb.
Okay.
And he was I just can't figure this out.
Yeah.
And then one day he's watching his kids play with building blocks
Okay.
and he realizes oh, these interlocking pieces could actually translate into a more flexible and adaptable design for this prosthetic limb.
So he's finding inspiration in
in the everyday.
in his kids' toys.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it's like, don't discount those little moments.
Right. Those little moments can be
Those little moments can be huge. Yeah.
huge. Yeah. Um, okay, so we've got our mindset. We faced our fears. We're finding inspiration. But then there's always that, like, nagging voice of self-doubt
Oh, yeah.
that creeps in and is like, oh, this is dumb.
I'm not good enough. This is stupid.
What am I even doing this? So how do we deal with that?
Well, that's where the book talks about the power of connection.
Okay.
And they argue that, like, sharing your work,
Okay.
even in its early stages,
Even when it's like,
even when it's messy, even when it's not perfect,
yeah.
and getting feedback from a supportive community
Mm-hmm.
can be so, so valuable.
But isn't that part of, like, the fear, though?
It is.
Like putting yourself out there like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It can be terrifying.
Especially if you're, like, prone to self-doubt already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, the more you do it,
Yeah.
the easier it gets.
Right.
And the book gives some really great tips on, like, building what they call a creative circle.
Ooh, I like that creative circle.
Yeah, it's like a group of trusted individuals.
Like your tribe.
Yeah, your tribe, people who get you, people who understand your vision.
Yeah. And who can give you...
And who can give you, like, honest feedback.
Right. Not just like, oh, that's great.
Exactly. Yeah, like constructive criticism, but also encouragement.
Right. Because you need both of those.
You need both.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So we've talked about a lot of, like, really great stuff.
Yeah.
But how do we make this, like, a sustainable thing?
Oh, that's a great question.
Right? Because it's so easy to, like,
Yeah.
get excited about something and
Yeah, and then you lose steam.
life gets in the way.
Yeah, life gets in the way.
Yeah.
Well, the book really emphasizes that this isn't just about, like, one-off bursts of creativity. It's about cultivating a sustainable, creative life that you love. And so one of the things they recommend is designing a creative routine.
Ooh. I like that creative routine.
That fits your lifestyle.
Okay.
So it's like, what are the things that spark your imagination? Whether it's journaling, whether it's going for walks in nature,
Right.
whether it's like taking regular breaks from work to just daydream.
Like, give yourself permission to just think.
To think, to play, to explore.
That's great.
And to make that a regular part of your life.
Yeah. I think that's what's so hard about it is, like, we get so caught up in, like,
The day-to-day.
the day-to-day and just, like, the grind.
The grind.
And we forget to, like, make time for those things that, like,
Or
actually
fill us up.
fill us up.
Yeah.
That make us feel alive.
It sounds like this book is like a really great
It's a call to action.
call to action to, like...
To step into your power.
Yeah.
Your creative power.
And I love that it's like tying it into like 2025 is like the year to do it.
It's a new year.
Right.
It's a fresh start.
New year, new you.
Exactly.
New creative you. So for all of you listening out there, White, I think a good question to ask yourself is like, what is something in your life that seems really ordinary that could be like the spark for your next like big creative breakthrough?
I love that.
And also like,
Yeah.
what fear can you face head on?
Head on, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, who can you bring into your creative circle?
Yeah. Build your tribe.
Build your tribe. So, I don't know about you, but I am feeling super pumped to go out and be creative, Asher. This deep dive into this book.
It's inspiring.
So thank you all for listening. Keep those creative sparks flying. And we'll catch you on the next dive.
So yeah.